Hi there, and welcome to your CAP2 induction presentation. My name is Brian Rankin with Chartered Accountants Ireland, and I'm delighted today to bring you through some slides describing your education journey for CAP2 for the coming academic year. So just by way of agenda of the information we're going to cover, initially I'm going to go through a couple of slides for CAP2 talking about induction and what you can expect to find in this, our first year of online education delivery. Then we're going to move on to Nicola, who's going to give a couple of slides and give some information on CA Diary, and that's the facility whereby you record your professional experience. Then we move on to CA Support and the work that that team does, and CA Support Manager Dee France will talk a little bit about the work that CA Support does, not just for members, but also for our students too. And finally, Emma Noonan, Chair of CASSI, will talk a little bit about the student representative body, CASSI, and their work. So just for those who are joining joining the Institute in their first year as CAP2 and may not have studied previously with us, just a little bit of information about our professional body and the qualification. So who are Chartered Accountants Ireland? Well, it's Ireland's largest and longest established accountancy body. It offers the premier professional accountancy qualification and one of Ireland's leading business qualifications. We're Ireland's largest educator with over 6,600 students. And as I say, we are the leading voice of the accountancy profession in Ireland and a leading voice in business. We have offices in Belfast and Dublin. And our role extends to the following. So as a professional body, the Institute's job is to train, to support. It's involved in the promotion of the qualification as the leading accountancy qualification in Ireland, involved in the regulation of the profession too, and as one of Ireland's leading membership bodies, it offers a range of services to our students and members. Our membership currently is approaching 29,000, which means we're widely recognised and a very influential professional body. So as I mentioned, we currently have over 28,000 members with 6,600 students. And here you'll see a range of the bodies who are affiliated to the Institute, both in practice and also in business. Some 65% of our members are actually in business. And that includes 28% of our membership that work in financial services and a growing number working in the public sector. But 25% of our members work in practice, either as practitioners themselves, as self-employed, or within some of the larger public practice firms. So, firstly, congratulations in reaching CAP2 and your professional journey to this stage. But while we congratulate you, if we may, a word of warning at this stage too. CAP2 involves the most technical content of all of the 3 years of our professional education. It's often described by students who have gone through and qualified as the toughest of the years. So it's important that you've switched on from the very start. There's going to be a significant amount of workload coming down the line, coming your way. And with webinars beginning in early November, it's vital that you have your study routine set from the start. So moving on then, and just to focus on you and your journey to this point. What you'll be encountering from this point on will be different to your experience with education before. And right now, obviously, everything is different with COVID. So professional education is a mix of part-time applied education allied with the generation of practical, on-the-job, relevant experience. So it's very different to a college environment. When you're a student with us, you'll be working usually in an accountancy or finance or tax role, gaining quality accounting experience, because we expect the qualified CA to hit the ground running and start adding value from day one. Importantly, there's no natural divide between the experience and education in your working day. So for you, this is all about balancing the competing pressures that you'll encounter from full-time work and part-time professional education during the months and years ahead. But don't worry, we'll get you through the process and there's support at every step of the way, all explained later. You'll find everything that will appear in your examinations in the competency statement, so there's no surprises. The competency statement basically covers everything you'll be learning in CAP2, the full syllabus, all the details. You'll find it in the Learning Hub and in the CAP2 section of the website. So I've touched on the unusual circumstances we find ourselves in this year. As you know, all education will be delivered exclusively online for this academic year to adhere to public health guidelines. So, just as we're having to get used to a completely new way of education delivery online, we'll be asking you to approach fully online professional education differently this year. To be successful with online education takes a much more active, committed approach, and we're flagging this at the very start of your studies. There'll be much more responsibility placed on the individual student to take ownership of your studies and manage your time to get through a packed syllabus. The Learning Hub will record your activity on the platform to ensure no one falls behind, and you'll get reminders via email to complete a session, but it's going to be up to you to manage your progress. So, for instance, when it comes to attending the live webinars, which will be focused on exam questions and solutions, you'll be expected to have done all the pre-work beforehand. So that covers the first of those tips you'll see on screen here. But after this, we've listed a couple of things that we think is going to really help to assist your education over the year ahead and to help your work-life balance. Things like prioritizing your time, creating workspace, making sure you keep up a hobby and something that you love, planning and being realistic, recognizing that in the year ahead, there's going to be highs and lows, asking for help, and using the resources available to you. Onto syllabus then, and this template will give you a snapshot of the course from CAP1 all the way to FAE and the topics which are examined. The CA diary underpins your study and tracks your professional development. Our program is based on the cumulative principle, so it's about building blocks. So topics are examined at understand level at CAP1, and it builds to a much more technical level at CAP2. Then at the final year, the FAE, the final admitting exam, you won't necessarily be learning a lot that's new, but it will be about applying this knowledge in practical business situations. If you've gained a CAP1 exemption, it's your responsibility to ensure that you're up to date and equipped for your studies going forward. The cumulative principle document identifies some of the key areas and summarizes the knowledge and skills that need to be carried forward from CAP1 to CAP2. And there's now a direct link between CAP1 tax and CAP2. And here you see where the different subjects map over between CAP1 and CAP2. So here we just talk about the different supports that are provided and how the education year is broken up. You'll see that our lectures, mock exams and revision is provided and supported by the CAP2 education team led by Aileen Finn. And then in terms of exams and assessments, e-assessments, the CAP2 exam team look after this area and they'll be assisting you from early enough in your studies this year. And you'll see the exams are held both in summer and in autumn. We'll be mentioning the support available to students throughout this presentation, but it's good for you to know that you'll have your own education support team at CAP2 led by Aileen Finn. There's also exam support teams specifically for your year, CAP2. We have a disability office that can advise of reasonable accommodations, and also the training support team will be available for flexible students and for the students on the flexible route. A note then on book collection. And in response to the ongoing situation with COVID-19, in the interest of student and staff safety, there will be no book collections in operation this year. Instead, books will be dispatched by our distributor, Shanahan's, who will contact the student directly once their enrolment has been processed. Distribution will commence in late October and early November. Here you'll see the contact form that will be sent to you by Shanahan's, and the important thing here is just to confirm that your address details are correct. If you have any queries, please email textbookqueries@charteredaccountants.ie. A note on timetables then. And at this time of year, normally we'd be finalising course timetables for lectures taking place in our facilities in Dublin and Belfast. But of course, things are different this year. For 2020-2021 academic year, timetables will be dealt with slightly differently. We'll be releasing content onto the Learning Hub in small 6-week chunks. This will enable us to keep taking on board your feedback and making incremental developments and improvements as we move throughout the year. On that basis, your first timetable will be released in a phased basis, with the first timetable covering the period November to December. And the semester 2 timetable will be released in early December and will cover the second semester. Remember also that much of the education content is either pre-recorded or quizzes or case studies, which are not tied to a time, and you can choose to engage with when it suits you. Your first lecture will include an induction talk, which will give guidance on what to expect during the academic year. We do our best to avoid any timetable changes, but they can happen due to unforeseen circumstances. If a change is required, we will send a text message or a message via the Learning Hub to let you know. So please ensure that both your mobile number and email details are correct on the student portal of the website. So, on to the most important question that many people are going to have, which is, where do I access my learning and education? Where are all my lectures? And the answer is, it's through a new online education portal called the Learning Hub. If anyone has experience of using Moodle as an online portal, well, ours is based on that. It's very intuitive and easy to navigate. And for instance, this is what you'll see when you visit the dashboard for CAP2. You'll get your login details very shortly, just in late October, a few days before your commencement for CAP2. And by way of training, we've created some videos on the induction section of our website, which brings you through all the different tools available. Please note that when you log in for the first time, you're not going to see all the material for the full academic year. Instead, you'll see the first tranche or section of learning materials that cover approximately the first 6 weeks or 2 months. We've taken this approach so that we can make incremental improvements to the material and learning from our experience and your feedback as we go. At the start, you'll still see some documents hosted on the Student Centre of the Institute's website, but once you get started and you log into the Learning Hub, then expect to see all your documents and the important information for your studies to be hosted on the Learning Hub. Important information like the Learning Journal, which contains the following: planning and delivery schedule for each subject, the CAP2 competency statement, professional education committee report, the lexicon of key terms, a link to the CA diary, and information on CA support. Quite apart from the massive shift to online education, we have other new developments this year, one of which is a new emphasis on ethics and compliance. And this covers key principles such as integrity, objectivity, professional competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. Ethics and compliance has been reworked this year to appear across every subject and will be examinable across CAP2 exams, because these traits are displayed by every chartered accountant. It's what we're about. So ensure that you put a focus on this in your studies and in your exams. Another one of our special services for our CAP2 students, and indeed for all of our students, is Accountancy Ireland Extra. It's the student-focused version of our member magazine, Accountancy Ireland. The Accountancy Ireland team pull together stories of interest to our student population, and there's also good material for dropping into exam answers, so it's well worth a look. You'll see the stories in the Learning Hub. So onto attendance then, and it's one area that we're receiving a lot of queries on from intending CAP2 students. And we record your attendance and engagement with the learning materials for a couple of reasons. Well, it's a requirement of some training firms, and we use it to track if any student is not keeping up and where those students may need some intervention and where we can reach out to those students. And we also use it to assess how students are engaging with our online learning materials in this, our first year of online education. Attendance this year is a combination of webinar attendance and engagement data from the Learning Hub platform. When you join an online webinar, you'll have to fill in your information, including student number and training firm. And in that way, a report is then generated which shows if the student attended and engaged during the webinar. We've kept all the key dates that you'll need for CAP2, both in terms of your online education and in terms of exams and assessments here on the students section of the website. You'll see it's keyed in here, and it just means you don't have to be taking down all the dates that are mentioned throughout the year. You'll see this is incomplete at this stage, but all the information that we have is currently posted on this page. So for all your key dates, please do keep an eye and continue to view and to visit this page. It's key dates for CAP2 on the students section of the website. And still on key dates then, but moving on to e-assessments. And chances are you're already thinking about exams, even at this early stage, which is great. So last year we moved all exams to an e-assessment platform, and given its success earlier this year, all 2021 exams will be on the e-assessment basis. All dates for exams and inter-exams and mocks are available to view on the Institute website. Some information is not there yet and will follow when complete and when ready. And also on the website, as you see here, we have a wealth of resources and guidance available to you to get up to speed and understand how to undertake an e-assessment exam. It's well worth looking at this, even at this early stage. Some information then on interim assessments, and I know there's already some questions arriving in asking about the CAP2 interim assessments. Well, the interim assessment dates have not yet been finalised, and when they have, a communication will be issued to CAP2 students and to firms. Some other questions about the weighting for financial reporting, and we can confirm that interim assessment is weighted as 15% and will be added to the main exam, which will be weighted out of 85%. The interim assessment will be held on our e-assessment platform. Student surveys are always important to us, but never more than this year, as we embark on exclusively online education provision. The usual surveys in December and April cover the course as a whole, but this year we'll be aiming to get feedback from you on each specific subject. So our ask for you here is to please take part and give us your feedback. It's hugely valued and will be listened to. So information again on the education support team and the contact details, which I'll move on to in the next slide. So as I mentioned, the CAP2 program team is led by Aileen Finn. Your coordinators are Elizabeth Ford and Conor Burke, with Laura Gore supporting NI students. Your education support team will be helping with administering courses. They'll be assisting with inquiries and passing academic queries on to lecturers, and they'll provide an avenue for feedback on courses. Contacting us then. Well, general queries can go through to studentqueries@charteredaccountants.ie. Your specific queries on CAP2 can be addressed to cap2@charteredaccountants.ie. Exam queries, cap2exam@charteredaccountants.ie. And questions about the flexible route or the CA diary can go to trainingsupport@charteredaccountants.ie. You'll see our phone numbers there, and we're also active on social media. If you have any questions, a great place to go is the Contact Us Support and Services section of the current students drop down on the website. So when you go to the home page of the Chartered Accountants website, click down on Current Students, and over on the right-hand side, you'll see a section for Support and Services. It's where you fill out a query form, and in that way, you can have your query directly sent to the CAP2 team. So we hope that presentation has been useful for intending CAP2 students. We hope it answers many of the questions that you have, and it only remains to wish you the very best of luck in your studies for this academic year for all CAP2 students, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Nicola Sullivan. I am a member of the team in the Training Support Unit in Chartered Accountants Ireland. And in the Training Support Unit, we look after the CA Diary of Professional Development and any queries that you may have around the professional development piece. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the CA Diary of Professional Development. First off, what is the CA diary? The diary is an essential online instrument for documenting and approving relevant work experience during the entire training period. And something important to note here is that the CA diary is not something that's updated at the end of your training period when you've finished exams. It is expected that you will keep the diary up to date throughout the entire training period. The CA diary is integral to the student journey and admission to membership. So as we look down the line towards admission to membership, you need your completed exams, but you also need a completed CA diary to be eligible to join the institute. So the purpose of the professional development piece is to show us that you have acquired a group of core mandatory skills and competencies throughout the training period. Depending on your educational background, you will be assigned either a 3.5 year or a 4-year training period. 3.5 years is the average that most trainees will complete. And throughout those years, you will be demonstrating to us through the CA diary that you have acquired these professional values and interpersonal skills, that you have an awareness of the business environment, and those competencies are what we would refer to as your core generic transferable skills. And then as an add-on to that, you also have to demonstrate that you've met one group of functional competencies, and they could be from the auditing group, the finance group, tax, or IT. We do have a recognition of prior experience policy, which can recognize prior experience up to a maximum of 18 months. And if you are entering the program with any prior experience that you would like to get recognized, please do reach out to us at Training Support and we can help you. So, the principles of the CA diary are really learning through reflection on work experience. And this is a fantastic practice to get into, reflecting and evaluating back on your own work. The CA diary is a portfolio of your learning and development. It's an excellent tool to tap into throughout your career. When you're going for job interviews, you can look back on the CA diary and take examples for interviews of all those wonderful competencies that you've achieved throughout your training. The CA diary is your responsibility, so it is the responsibility of the trainee to update the diary with at least one entry per month. You should set review dates with your mentor. Keep on top of your mentor. Make sure they're reviewing your diary entries. Make sure they're completing 6 monthly reviews. Use the supports available to you. So you will see under Student Centre on our website, there is a page called CA Diary Resources. And on that page, you'll find lots of PDF guides, video tutorials, and recordings of recent webinars we have delivered, and use all of those supports available to you. Your goal is ultimately admission to membership. In order to be eligible for admission to membership, you need your exams, the education piece, and your experience demonstrated through the CA diary. So don't panic. Please don't panic. Support on the CA diary is available to you. There's lots of, as I said, recorded tutorials and webinars available. We do recommend recording at least one diary entry a month. If you ever have any queries, concerns, anything you would like to discuss regarding the CA diary, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on trainingsupport@charteredaccountants.ie. And how do you gain access to the CA diary? 2 things: you need to have an approved contract, whether that's a training contract or a flexible route contract. So that must be approved. You must have a mentor assigned. If you're completing a training contract, your firm will assign a mentor. If you're on the flexible route, there is a flexible route mentor approval form on that CA diary resources page that you can see on the screen now. Once you have those 2 things approved, you're going to gain access to the online diary platform, and that is through Current Students, Student Centre, and CA Diary. You're logging in with your student number and your password of choice, and you're gaining access to that online platform to create your diary entries. All right, folks, that's everything from me. As I said, please don't hesitate to contact training support at charteredaccountants.ie at any time, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you. Stop recording.
Hello everyone, my name is Dee France and I'm the manager of CA Support. This is an additional service here at the Institute, and I'd just like to run through a couple of the services that we provide for you. So our mission is pretty simple. This is our guiding principle, and it's the sole purpose is to care for the well-being of every student and every member for life. So just a little bit about the history of this service. The background is we have been around for quite a long time, 1928, and we were founded originally as a benevolent fund. So that was primarily to provide financial assistance to members that fell on hard times. So these days we've evolved into a fully holistic service, and that's very much about a people-centered service and looking after the whole person, so around your mental and your physical health. These days we're a registered charity as well, and we have a donation-based model where all of our services rely on donations from members of the Institute. We are separate to the Institute. We sit alongside the Institute with our own board of directors, and we actually have a dedicated team to look after this service as well. So just moving on, so what is it we actually do? So as I say, our sole purpose is about empowering and supporting our students and our members. We like to think that we're a one-stop shop for all of your well-being needs, and we are all about providing those practical and emotional supports to you throughout your whole life cycle. And the most important aspect here is that we are free for everybody, so there is that's a nice benefit to you. These are the sort of points in this life cycle that you may sort of hit road bumps, if you like. So obviously you're here at the very beginning, and the kind of issues that you might encounter would be around exam stress or financial issues, or indeed that work-life balance that you're trying to obtain. And then as you move through your life cycle, there would be other obstacles in your kind of personal and your professional life that we would step in to provide support around. So the other services that we offer to empower you would be the confidential listening service. We have an outside third party that provides professional counselling. And we have in-house wellness coaching provided by one of the team. And indeed those referrals over to the Institute for Career Coaching and Recruitment, a very good mentoring program that's in place. And then indeed those CPD and lifelong learning, those sort of professional development supports as well. And then obviously we run lots of mental health and wellbeing events that you're very welcome to join. So then the other supports that we have is a dedicated website with very fresh content uploaded all the time, and we tune into our key charity partners, just some of them there, A List for Life, the mental health charity Shine, another mental health charity, obviously Drink Aware speaks for itself, and then that sort of youth program spun out as well. So we try to reach you on social media channels and then through the sort of more conventional newsletters. So we're obviously there talking to you and providing content all the while. So this is where you can reach us. Pretty straightforward, as I say, that's the dedicated website. And then we have a dedicated email inbox, and that's our telephone number. So just remains for me to say very, very good luck in your journey with the Chartered Accountants of Ireland. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the current CASSI chair. So today I just want to talk a bit about CASSI and the regional societies and what they stand for and what they do. So to give you a broad overview, there's 7 regional societies and then there's CASSI. So the regional societies are specific to each area. So for example, there's the Dublin Society, which is CASSI, there's the Ulster Society and the Cork Society and so on. So where you sit your lectures depends on what society you'll fall under. So each of the regional societies host events which are specific to their region and their area. So these are events such as networking events, social events, mental health and well-being focused events, and educational events. CASSI, on the other hand, is the overarching society which encompasses both north and south of the island. So CASSI is very much chartered accountant facing. So instead of having, say, 7 chairs, Instead of having 7 chairs contact chartered accountants on different occasions throughout the year, we have a quarterly CASSI meeting whereby all of the regional societies can come together, discuss any of the concerns which were raised in their region, and then CASSI then escalate this on to chartered accountants. In terms of the positions on the societies, there's 7 positions on the CASSI society and there's 6 positions on each of the regional societies. The 7 on CASSI being the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer, the PRO, the secretary, the education officer, and then the 7th position, which isn't on the regional societies, is the events officer. So if you're interested, I'll just give you a quick overview. This is also our last AGM, which was 2020 and 2021. So this was actually the CASSI AGM, which was held in February. So in terms of what we do, I know I've mentioned some of the things that we do, for example, representing your views and concerns and having social events, but we're here to help out if you have any queries for us. We work with chartered accountants to provide your feedback and give the student perspective on the education and exam programs. There's obviously more crack involved in being involved in the student societies. So for example, every year there are different regional activities which take place. In order to get involved, you're sent an email or you can follow us on our platforms, which I'll mention. But for CASSI, there's one event, large event, which takes place, which gives students the opportunity to not just only network with their colleagues in their regions, but also network with students from across Ireland. This is usually held in the form of a ball down in Carlow, and it's a 2-day weekend away. So it's great crack. If you get the opportunity to attend, it's brilliant fun and I would highly recommend. Not that I'm slightly biased being on CASSI, but to get involved with CASSI or any of the regional societies, our AGMs for the regional societies are in October and November. So simply drop us an email or reach out to us on our Instagram or LinkedIn, and we can set you up with the regional chairs. And to get involved with CASSI, our AGM is in February, so you can get involved by sending us an email. You just speak briefly at the AGM and then there's voting as the norm. It's obviously great to get involved. What's really great about CASSI is it's an all-Ireland society, so you meet students from across the island, both north and south. So it's a great opportunity to network, get to know people from across Ireland, and yeah, so if you're interested in getting involved, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks very much.